Dr. Andre Bruni. I'm a general dentist, father of 5, and a child of the Most High. I practice with my wife here in Baton Rouge. I began practicing in 2001 in a small 4-chair office right out of dental school. I worked extremely hard and focused on providing my patients with outstanding care in a relaxed and comfortable environment, and I taught this philosophy to other doctors along the way. By 2012, I'd grown my dental practice to 14 offices, including 30 doctors and over 200 employees in 4 states. With a passion to provide better access to care, I was the first dentist in the country to ever be invited into Walmart stores to provide full-service dentistry. In 2012, I was found guilty of advertising violations by the Louisiana State Board of Dentistry, which that year had decided arbitrarily to create a Yellow Page committee, and they fined dentists arbitrarily for words like having state-of-the-art or in my case, I had family dentistry. It had to be the most prominent ad in the thing. It was clearly bigger, but it wasn't bigger enough. So they multiplied that times 6 or 7 Yellow Page books, and I was fined $15,000 at that time. I really didn't have any way to appeal it. Soon after, I became the target of another investigation that was leaked out to the dental community a year prior to being officially notified by the board. This loomed like a black cloud over me because the sources were credible, and I knew it was coming, but over what? I believe the dental board waited a year to gather more information from other offices and doctors within our organization so they could compound and find levies against me. 2 of the charges against me were actually against other associate doctors. The 2 doctors, we were all called for a meeting and were summoned in for an informal meeting with attorneys present. The 2 associate doctors went in for questioning and both left with letters of reprimand. I, as the owner doctor, was the last to go in and met by a supposedly impartial 3-dentist panel. I can tell you this wasn't a hearing, it was an execution. I felt like questions that were being asked, the theatrics, it wasn't really sort of like a checklist of things. They ended up fining me $70,000.
What year was this?
This is in 2013.
Okay.
And so, but the whole crux of the matter is that I was asked to come in for a hearing. The hearing was already pre-decided. I'm talking to one of the dentists that had driven in from a committee panel meeting, and he had already heard what they wanted to do to me before the hearing was even over. It's like, I heard what they wanted to do to you. I thought it was over the top.
There was also the problem with that board, in that the attorney who was prosecuting was also advising the board on, and yeah, look, I get you. And hopefully the bill we passed last year and with Senator Cortez's legislation.
So to get to it is that, I think the bill that Senator Milkovich is proposing has dumbed down a lot to create a pathway. As a dentist, I had no pathway out. Right? It was either take this option or go before the formal 12-member panel, which were all related.
And in the situation that I was getting, I heard it in 4 different occasions. The investigator would come. First, you didn't get notified. Then 6 months down the road, they came and they told you, we've got enough here to suspend your license for 6 months, but we've got these investigative fees of $50,000. If you pay them, we'll give you a slap on the wrist. Yeah. My argument was, no, if he's a bad dentist, suspend him. And hopefully what I did and what Senator Milkovich did solve that problem, at least as it pertains to the dentistry.
It does create a pathway, but it does sunset in 2 years. And so my position, and I think even the dental board agrees that they're okay with having this ALJ process. I think what y'all were discussing, the part about protecting the anonymous whistleblower, but in the past, like Diana Chenevert, who testified here last year, said that own board members would call in complaints against their competitors. And so how do you, if it's a complaint that's by somebody within that's trying to, retaliate against a competitor, how do you deal with that? So I agree with Senator Milkovich. I mean, maybe there's some concessions on protecting the whistleblower, but we also need to know that it's not happening from within also.
And there are a lot of people affiliated with other boards and commissions that are opposed to this because they have not experienced the same problem that you have. And I think that's what the duty of this board is that when something like that pops up and it's pointed out to us, that we deal with it, but we deal with it probably on an individual basis, still protecting the due process rights, but in the same way, not mandating that every board and commission in the state has to go by the ALJ process. But thank you for your testimony.